Go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it, is that people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does it a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Turn the crowd, you got the crowd.
Left tackle!
That's who we want. That's who we want.
That'd be interesting.
The 65th pick to the New York Jets. With the 65th pick in the 2024 draft, the New York Jets select Malachi Corley.
Yeah! Wow!
Let's go!
Yeah!
Let's go!
I love it.
From sunny Dublin, Ireland, I'm thrilled to announce that with the 134th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Braylon Allen.
Oh, yeah! Let's go!
Well done.
Yes!
Well done.
Yes!
Let's well
All right. With the 171st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Jordan Travis, quarterback.
Wow! All right, yeah!
Okay.
Showing.
You think they're gonna announce it again or no?
I don't know. I mean, if they showed, pick us in. Oh, it's a running back, Isaiah Davis, special teams guy.
Wait, what?
It just flashed on the screen.
I was joking. The Jets did?
I think it's special teams. Yeah, Isaiah Davis.
That was the other running back I liked.
So there you go. We got Isaiah Davis.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Quantez Stiggers. Cornerback.
Ooh, this draft sucks.
With the 257th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select ''𝐿'N'' a defensive back from Alabama.
All right.
They love their defensive back.
𝐿'N''. I got to be honest with you, I didn't watch much 𝐿'N''.
Boys and girls, welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I'm joined alongside my wonderful co-pilots. I've got Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
You know, those clips are interesting. You know, like we depend on Dom C for inside, scoops on, deeper layers. And what did he say? I don't know shit about these guys. At the end there, I got to tell you guys, I don't know anything. So we got to get Dom more involved, I think. This guy's slacking, Ryan. That's what I think. But I don't know. I'm in a good mood. I'm wondering what the hell we're going to talk about for these next couple months. So I'm glad I'm with you guys. Maybe you can help me out. I'm running out of ideas, everybody.
O'Leary, how you doing, dude?
I am doing very well. Excited to be back on another Tuesday with you guys, talking some New York Jets football and hanging out with the best chat in the game. They always make me laugh. So shout out to the chat.
Chat, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Goes a long way. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt qualifier, jersey qualifier, hat, mug, pillow qualifier at the end of the stream. And if you're watching after the fact, leave some timestamp comments below, and you get entered into next week's t-shirt giveaway. We're happy to have you in here. I see Geronzo, Hank G, Squirmy Weasel, Blitz Crew says we're starting early, and that's about right. Armani AD, Greg the Gag, Tuesday, Jets Brethren, and Jets making fun of us on Talk 24/7, on Time Talk 24/7. It's nice starting the stream on time. Greg says hit the milk thumbs. Only the 12th one to do so. Step up. Up to 35 now. Thank you. Sneaks Boot says, damn, the schedule releases the 15th. Ooh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, confirmed as of 15 minutes ago by Adam Schefter. I just saw the tweet pop up on my feed though. I thought it was going to be on Thursday. So tomorrow's Just Jets is going to be a little early, but that's all right.
Yeah, interesting. So they definitely said that at least the ticket salesperson that I talked to, they're like, oh yeah, so we get the schedule on the 9th. So maybe that's like the teams get the schedule, or maybe it leaks on the 9th. I have no idea. Or maybe she's just totally blowing smoke and was wrong.
Maybe she was just flat out wrong.
I think that's entirely possible.
You know what I mean?
But I thought we
Or
got
she's gonna give you-
on that too. I saw that on Twitter too. I feel like it wasn't only just you. I feel like I saw that somewhere on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard. And that's what I saw some other stuff pop up. So I'm curious to see, maybe Schefter's wrong. And he should lose our number. And that's where we go with this. Boys and girls. See Tony saying Travis will be our next Pennington with a stronger arm. Greenbean, you think we can develop Mr. Jordan Travis the way we want to? Next Pennington, maybe?
Well, let me say this. I don't think that we need to bring in the great one and only Chad Pennington into this conversation, because I think they're very different. But the answer is a resounding yes. I think Jordan Travis, given the 2 years that we have to develop him, is going to pop like a balloon filled with chocolate and gold for Jets fans. That's what I think, everybody. I think it's perfect. So I think Aaron Rodgers, Tyrod Taylor, helped by Hackett and his jokes, he can make things light and fun around the development by Rodgers and Taylor for Jordan Travis. I think it's a beautiful scenario. I think the kid's got the mental makeup, he's got the physical skills, he's got some things to work on, but he's got 2 years to do it. But he will never be Chad Pennington, because Chad, without the injuries, was the greatest of all time, everybody.
I see Thanks for the Cheese comes in, says, is game 1 really against the Tennessee Titans? That was the rumor that I saw floated out there. I don't know. I guess we don't really know until the 15th or whenever the schedule release comes out. I don't know. Have you guys heard any leaks of the schedule at all from any of the little various Twitter spaces or...
No, but I did see that one, but maybe we could talk about who we would like to see the Jets play in week 1. I know for me, I kind of like a cupcake in week 1. I don't necessarily need the prime time game, but I would sign up for Tennessee in week 1, 1 o'clock on CBS, get it out of the way nice and early. Rodgers comes back, nice performance, cruise to a win. I'm in on Tennessee.
And that's a week 1 away game then, as opposed to at home. So we'd be home on week 2. So I guess, Greenbean, let's throw it over to you. If we had Tennessee week 1, who would you want to play week 2 for our home opener?
Well, first, let me just say this, and I will answer your question. You, Ryan, had expressed interest in going to the Tennessee game. Mm-hmm. If it's week 1, do you think you'd still pull that together, or is it kind of off the table?
No, I think it's on the table. I'd like it to be a little bit further into the season, I guess, because I do want to do our week 1 group buy, and I'd like to maybe space those out a little bit. But Tennessee's probably the most interesting one for me as far as away games go. If we get a London game, I think I would consider going to London for that game. But if we don't have a London game, then Tennessee's probably it. And if it's week 1, I don't love it. It's not the first team I particularly want to play. But again, at least to have some lead up going from summer, because training camp, there's like that dead period after training camp just before the first game. So you kind of have almost a little bit more buffer time.
Yeah. Well, and look, they just signed Tyler Boyd. So they got what? They got Tyler Boyd. They got, what's his name? Hopkins.
Calvin Ridley.
So I don't know, man. You think, what'd you say? Cupcake? Who said cupcake? Was that Matt?
And they got Treylon Burke too.
Oh, Treylon Burke stinks. Bust.
I know.
Will Levis is going to be crying with that defensive line coming after him. I'm not worried about no Tennessee Titan.
How's their offensive line? That's the key. How's their O-line?
Well, Brewer went down to Miami, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
So, all right, now let me answer your question now. So, let's say that the Titans game is week 1 and it's away and it's 1 o'clock, like Matt O'Leary and I love so dearly. And then we come back home for our home opener. I want the Pats so bad that I can taste it. It tastes like a little bit like dog shit, but I want it. I can taste it. Dude, it's about time that we get a Pats rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like early in the season when we can still rattle him and potentially knock the trajectory of his career off a smidgen. I want to do that. They've been doing that to us for a long time while having Brady. Yes, we had Mac Jones and everything, but we played the Pats like later in the season. I want the Pats home opener. I want to be ravenous in the stadium. I want people to be just snarling and with mustard all over their faces and shit. Like, that's what I want. I want the Pats young quarterback, brand new organization, early in their tenure, so we can knock the living snot out of them. That's what I want, man. That would make me very, very happy.
Oh, that just sounds like an amazing fantasy I want to live through. Hype says, hey guys, I have old content ideas. I miss the player profiles, and I also miss how how I became a Jet fan. Maybe guys could write in or call with stories. We could definitely do something like that. We could do, people sending us an email. Maybe it's I don't know. We'll talk afterwards. Maybe we do like a video thing or something where it's like someone sends in a video and like, oh, how'd you become a Jet fan? Or we just have you on and you talk to us for, I don't know, half hour, whatever, something like that. Get the Jet fan stories. Hype. Thanks for the thought process there. Matt, anything to add here?
I think it's going to be interesting to see all the different stories. Like, I know all 3 of our stories, but it'll be cool to see like other fans. Maybe another fan has an Aunt Gina that got them into the Jets. You never know.
Greeby, what do you think about doing this kind of series?
Well, you know what's interesting? Like Hype said, he misses it. So that insinuates that he's hearkening back to a time when we did it. And that early in my channel, we did that. And I actually just kind of got away from this year, away from the starting my podcast with the player profile, like whatever number podcast it was, I did a player that wore that number, right? So it sounds like Hype wants to see a little bit more of that. Like we did that. Remember when we did the the fans around the world and shit like that? I would ask how you became a Jets fan. But yeah, I like that stuff. Here's the problem, Hype, that I ran into is that when I made those videos, no one watched them. So like that was kind of the thing. It was like, 200 views and shit like that. So if we folded it in right, I think it could be great. I love hearing how like the origin stories of different Jets fans. I truly love it. But again, we got away from it over here because, it seemed like not everybody was psyched as Hype is.
Maybe we fold it into the Talkin' Jets panel or something. We do like a 10-minute clip or something like that, 10-minute little like sidebar, like bam, here's Steve from Borneo. He watches the Jets Saturday nights because time differences and stuff. I don't know. He hangs out with us. That could be a series. That could be a thing, Hype. I like it. Like your thought process. We did have rookie minicamp this past week, so there was a little bit of Jet news going on. I can let this stuff kind of flick through, but we could also talk about some of the comments that were made. Let's pull up Malachi Corley. I thought this one was really interesting. This is him discussing his, the way that he's utilized and how he plays the game of football.
There's a lot of receivers in the NFL that you see them catch the ball and immediately get down. Catch the ball and they run out of bounds.
No doubt.
You don't do that.
Nah, that ain't me.
Yeah. Why? Why? Like, what about you makes it seem like you crave the physical aspect of the content?
I just love football. I think I love football and I love life. And I think that part of my calling card is to be a good football player. And I think that the Lord has blessed me with some talents and abilities and a confidence that's out of this world. And I think that every time I get the ball in my hands, you know, I'm just ready to punish somebody every single time I get it. That's just that's the way I like to play the game. Getting in the weight room and getting stronger and being physically outmatching guys, you know, knowing that defensive backs don't really want to tackle and you'll give it to a linebacker at the same time. So just every time I get the ball, I'm trying to make something happen with it, and just running through guys just my way of imposing my will.
Yo, he wants to impose his will on linebackers, anyone that comes across the middle. Like, this guy is everything that a fan wants to see in a football player. Like, we've seen all this soft ass, you know, flag football, throw the penalty flag, and Malachi Corley comes in and goes, no, I want to knock this dude's teeth out. Matt, what are your thoughts hearing Malachi Corley talk?
Oh, that's music to my ears, man. That's some old school smash mouth football right there. Give me a Malachi Corley screen that he turns upfield and runs over a wimpy tackler defensive back. Sign me up for that. And then people are going to go, oh, man, like, we got to put someone bigger on this Malachi Corley guy because he's just going to run over our defensive backs. And then with his speed, he's going to go past the linebackers. So I'm excited for how he's used as a weapon. I think it's going to be a lot of fun with Malachi Corley in this Jets offense.
Greeby, what'd you think of Corley's comments here?
I mean, is there anything better to hear than I want to impose my will? It's like, you know, remember Quinnen Williams when he came into the league, he used a specific word all the time. Do you guys remember what it was?
I don't know. Violence?
Dominate.
I know that.
It was dominate. Yeah, dominance. But he said dominate. I just want to do this and dominate. I just got to get, you know, I got to get going here so I can dominate. And you see him doing exactly that. He's quite the dominant fella. So having that mentality, it's like, you know, recently, you know, Jordan Travis, there was a conversation about him on Twitter, and they were, you know, there were some people on Twitter calling him a bit presumptuous because he's talking about being the heir apparent. And it's like, well, you know, you want these guys to come in with a high level of belief in themselves, number one, and the idea of doing exactly that, imposing their will, dominating. That's the stuff you want to bring in. Not like, well, I don't know, man, the fucking lights are really bright and I'm just hoping I can hang. You know, like, that's not what you want to see and hear from these guys. Malachi Corley, the whole thing with him is, and you heard the calls from our staff when they drafted him, they all mentioned one word. It was violence. And that's what we want from him, and that's what he intends to bring. So I'm really excited. Plus, he looks very svelte in that tight black shirt, and I like that. Muscles and strength and imposing the will. I like all that stuff. It's exactly what we want.
I learned a new word today, and I don't really know what it means. Could you define svelte?
Svelte, yeah. Well, svelte look, it's kind of a well put together, you know, and I can look up the official definition, but that's what it's sharp, like sharply dressed, svelte. But I'm going to look it up, make sure I
Dude,
explain it correctly.
He looks like a linebacker. Corley's yoked.
There you go.
He reminds me of just like build wise in like the chest and like the big arms.
LaRon Landry.
Yes.
Oh, dude, as soon as he started saying it, dude, the muscles just pop like that.
Yes.
Well, who did you say?
LaRon Landry.
Oh, LaRon Landry was ridiculous, though. Remember that guy?
Just jacked and tan. Friggin' like blow people up.
So svelte, the definition is slender and elegant. Well, I'd say he looks slender and elegant. Don't you agree?
Elegant, slender.
Yeah.
I mean, like cut, ripped.
Yeah.
Knock someone's teeth in. All words that could be used to describe.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's see if I can shift this around here. Ryder and Talon says that the svelte means lean.
Yeah, That's what it's saying. Well, yeah. Okay. There you go.
Farouk comes and says, did hip tackle ban have impact on who we picked? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure only 1% of tackles last year were of the hip drop variety. So I don't think you necessarily plan on it, but if players are going to have to be more conscious of it, maybe there's some kind of input. I think there's more of an impact on how special teams is going to be played and how you make certain selections. Like you might be more of the opinion of, hey, I'm cool with a wide receiver 6 or whatever being this crazy athletic return guy now because it's such a bigger part of the game. I think that's more likely to have an impact than the hip drop ban. Matt, what are your thoughts? Did the hip drop tackle ban have any impact on what we did with our player selection?
No, I would argue the special teams rules had more of an impact than the hip drop tackle. I think it's kind of just an added bonus with Malachi Corley. It's kind of like, the cherry on top, not the full thing, but it's kind of just that added bonus that, oh yeah, by the way, he's going to be even harder to bring down with these new rules.
Green, what do you think about the hip drop tackle? Do you think that had an impact on how we drafted or who we brought in?
If I had to guess, I would say no. I think that they're going for a type and a skill set and a mentality. I think that we don't know what that's really going to look like this year. I mean, I don't think they would base their drafting philosophy on a rule that just changed and we don't even know what the impact is. I do think that it could help guys like this, guys that are hard to take. A Conklin, a Malachi Corley. It's going to help those guys. It's going to help those types of players. But again, I don't think that they would say, oh, now that the new rule is in place, let's draft this guy over that guy. I don't think it's having that much of an impact on their philosophy yet.
All right, let's go over to some other comments that we saw. Quantez Stigger has become a fan favorite based on his history and whatnot. He went into it a little bit during the rookie training camp or rookie mini camp. Here's what he had to say.
Story short, you want the whole thing? I under recruited in high school. Kind of like a smaller kid that went to a smaller high school in the city. Had a couple offers from some NAIA schools like Allen and Reinhardt University. Ended up getting an offer from Lane College of D2. I committed there. And committed there in maybe like February, and then my dad got into a car accident in September. My dad got into a car accident in February. I graduated from high school in May, reported to Lane in August, and he passed in September, so I dropped out. Came home, be close to my siblings. I got 13 siblings, including my step siblings, 11 boys, 2 girls. So did that. Worked from the time I was dropped out. Then my mom signed me up for this league called Fan Control. Went there, won co-defensive player of the year. Got an opportunity to play in the CFL. Went there, won CFL Rookie of the Year. And then a lot of people ask me like, what's my plan? I was like, honestly, just play ball. And then I got an opportunity to play in the NFL. So of course, the Toronto Argonauts supported me through this whole process and helped me and guided me to get here.
Green Bean, what were your thoughts on Stigger's comments and just like how he, how his football journey began, coming back home working, 13 siblings, 11 boys, 2 girls, nuts in the Stiggers household.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you got to commend it. Like, I'm sure there's 1,000 people that have like the story of having, a chance and then something bad happens and they go to work and we never hear from him again, But here he is, he's back around. He fought his way through the whole thing. I think, what I'm hearing from him, let me say, of the opportunity, you know what I mean? And with those types of guys, like, you have these first round picks, second round picks, and a lot of the time they kind of, it's almost like they just they don't have any gratitude for it. It's like, I'm supposed to be here, and we hear the word diva all the time. He doesn't look like somebody that's gonna exhibit too much diva tendencies. You know what I mean? So he worked his ass off to get here. He kind of took the long road around, a lot of pain and kind of sacrifice for him to get to where he is today. And look at him, man. He's in front of the New York media, as a member of the New York Jets, and he's got an opportunity. The team believes in him. They love him, and they're going to give him every chance to succeed. And I think that he's the type of guy. We don't know what'll happen, but he's the type of guy that looks like he's going to at least give everything that he has to try to maximize that opportunity. And hey, man, maybe we got ourselves a gem here. Wouldn't that be cool?
Matt, what are you thinking about Quantez Stiggers and his comments and what he might be able to be for the New York Jets?
Yeah, I mean, just how do you not root for this guy? I think it's really just an incredible story where doesn't play college football, but is drafted and had to drop out, but his mom signed him up for the fan-controlled league. I think he's going to end up converting to safety is going to be my prediction for him. The Jets like to do that with some day 3 guys. They did it with Jason Pinnock, who eventually they tried to stash on the practice squad, and we know that didn't work out, as he was claimed. They also, Derek Bernard Converse, I believe, was another one that was drafted as a corner that's going to end up playing a little bit more safety. And kind of the same thing for Quantez Stiggers here. I hope he earns that spot and ends up being a nice story here. But for now, I think, just the depth piece on this roster.
Alex chimes in. Alex says, happiness is a good offensive line, finally. Yes, I could completely agree. It's nice to not feel like that is a weakness. David says, did you guys catch the roast of Tom Brady? I didn't watch the full thing. I saw some clips of it. Some very, very side-splitting funny. Others kind of cringy and not very interesting. But I've heard good things overall. I'd like to see more professional athletes get roasted. Like, I'd like to see LeBron get roasted. I'd like to see A-Rod get roasted. I'd like to see Tiger get roasted. I feel like that would be a lot of fun to see, especially if you have some good comedians on there doing it. Matt, did you catch any of the Tom Brady roast last night or 2 nights ago?
I did. It was 2 nights ago, but I watched it yesterday. I watched the full thing. It was like 3 hours long. So it was a very long roast. But as you said, some of it was really, really good. I thought Nikki Glazer was hilarious. The guy from Kill Tony was also really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Ben Affleck was very strange. His was not very good. Also, Brady kind of getting insulted or triggered by a joke about Robert Kraft out of everything. Was like, like you're making fun of his wife or ex-wife and her family, and like that was fine. But then it was the one joke about right off the bat about the what was it,
the massage parlor.
Thank you. The massage parlor. That was crossing the line, which I thought was true. Overall, it was good. I enjoyed it.
I was hoping to hear some, moments like Will Smith coming up and smacking someone. Like if Tom Brady came, I was like, get my owner out of your mother loving mouth. Green Bean, you catch any of the roast?
They missed an opportunity there. Yeah, that'd have been good.
Green Bean, did you catch any of the roast?
No. I saw the clips. Let me see. I'm all choppy or something over here. I'm trying to fix it.
Want me to boot you real quick? It might be on my end.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's probably me.
I got you. Don't worry. Booted. Hopefully he's not talking to himself.
There's a little bit of an echo here. I hear myself coming through.
Little bit of an echo.
I don't know if that's what he was talking about.
I don't know. Let's see. Green Bean, how you doing?
Hey. So, I thought, like Matt just said, I thought it was interesting that he took such offense, at the Robert Kraft thing. It's like, hey, we're talking about things that actually happened. You know what I mean? Like it's a roast and balls get busted and that's the way it goes. But he didn't like that. And then you heard Giselle was all upset that they talked about the divorce. Like, I don't know. I think these people gotta suck it up a bit. You know, they've been in these bubbles of, being protected and all that. It's like, dude, you're at a roast. So I didn't see the whole thing. So what I did see was potentially out of context. But I don't know. I think you should make jokes about it. I mean, the guy got busted for, craft that is, for massage parlor stuff and everything. And anybody else goes to jail and he didn't get anything. So, I mean, what? We can't make a joke?
Yeah,
Fucking
I feel like
asshole.
comedy is all about pushing that limit and pushing the boundaries and stuff. And like, if you can't joke about that, I mean, come on. I mean, I guess it's not only just that, because obviously there's some, the human trafficking thing, seriously not good. But like some of I saw people upset about the Aaron Hernandez joke where it was like, oh, we have the same stool back here for Kevin Hart to host this, that like Hernandez kicked out from under him. It's like, ooh, there's some zesty comments. But I mean, overall, the highlighted clips were pretty good. How long was it, Matt? Do you know? Was it like an hour-long thing, hour and a half?
It was literally like 3 hours. That wasn't an exaggeration. It was very long.
Ugh. I already see that guy too much over the last few years. I don't need to watch that much. Farouk comes in, says, did Green Bean have an impact on our draft picks? I would like to believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, shit. It's all the guys I talked about. So
yeah, they hang out in the Monday Night Mock. That's what it is.
That's right. Finally, I've been talking about it for a long time. If they would have taken a lot of the players I liked over the past 20 years, we would have won many Super Bowls. Even the coaches I liked. I'm a believer that I know what the hell's going on a little bit. I know what's happening, Ryan.
Xavier Garcia comes in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I don't see any comment associated with it, so thank you all the same. If I catch it in there, I will throw it up. Let's head over to some comments that Coach Salah had on Jordan Travis. Thought this was pretty interesting to hear and how they want to potentially deploy him.
He's a tremendous athlete. We feel like he's kind of a ball of clay. There's a lot of these kids are coming from college and, the style of college, it's tremendous schemes, but they're more tailor-made to what they can and can't do rule-wise at the college level. And so you're getting these quarterbacks who have, when it comes to footwork and throwing motion and just being able to process and working in NFL offense, getting under center, controlling the huddle, all that good stuff. There's so many things that we feel like we can build on that athleticism. And so there's a lot of excitement with regards to that.
Yeah, lots of upside here for Mr. Jordan Travis. I think being able to sit and let him learn behind Aaron Rodgers, some kind of fun. A little block of clay, like Robert Salah says. Matt, any thoughts on the comments from Coach Salah?
Yeah, our guy seemed under the weather too last week. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better. Robert Salah, boy's not 100%, but for Jordan Travis, that's a great way to put it. He's a ball of clay, and hopefully they don't F up this clay. They've been doing that with the last few quarterbacks that they've drafted, but Jordan Travis is in a unique situation where he doesn't need to play right away, and I think he'll benefit from having two really good quarterbacks in front of him, Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Rodgers. So hopefully he gets healthy first, like fully healthy first. That's the first step, and then from there, just eat up as much information as you possibly can from those two.
Green Bean, any thoughts on Robert Salah's comments on Jordan Travis, or thoughts on Jordan Travis in general?
Well, I think what stood out to me with Robert Saleh is he said a lot of these kids come from college.
Well, except for Stiggers.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's talking about. A lot of these guys come from college, and it's like maybe all of them. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think at this, I like the players, like when, these new young players that come in, they're excited. and they're saying shit, and they're just happy. They can't believe it, man. This is like a dream come true. But Robert Saleh, he's going to say things like athleticism and mental makeup and character. He's going to say those things, and I don't know. It's kind of it's interesting. I almost don't hear him anymore. You know what I mean? Like he talks, and I just go, okay, he's saying the same stuff. But I just hope that Robert Saleh isn't kind of weather beaten from the past few years, and that he actually is invigorated and ready to make this shit work, because he's the one, in my opinion, that is really on the chopping block. Like hypothetically, we come out of the gate and we're first 6 games, like we're under 500, or like let's say we got 2 wins or something ridiculous. I think Salah's going to go, and I would much rather that not happen. I'd much rather just kind of, this group that we have be successful. But anyway, I just have that little background concern for him. I hope he's excited. I hope that he still believes in what he's doing. And I hope that Hackett doesn't screw him. That's what I hope.
Bearded comes in. Bearded says, do you think JD is secretly a beanbagger? He used our mocks.
That's right,
I think
dude.
so.
I mean, I'm telling you, it looks just like it, Ryan. It looks just like the stuff that we're doing in there. So I got a sneaking suspicion JD's in there, or at least he has somebody in there to report to him. So Bearded's onto something.
See, I feel like they should keep an eye on like what all the fans listen to and like what we're all like chiming in on, because then at least it gives them the idea of like, hey, maybe we should take a look at this guy. And it, if there's any influence that us as a little panel or channel could have, players that we feel strongly about, it's kind of nice to see the regime actually look that direction.
Agreed.
I'm going to live that truth. Another player that I feel like is pretty interesting, has popped up on a lot of players or people's radars, is Leonard Taylor III, the defensive tackle from Miami. Played a little bit out of position before last season. This time last year was considered a first-round talent. Injury and inconsistent play were big detractors for him. Lots of effort-related comments or taking plays off. But he did have a 28.6% pass rush win rate as a 3 technique. Now, here's the caveat. He only had 28 snaps as a 3 technique in pass rush situations. So maybe he winds up being in a better situation here in a rotation with Quinnen Williams alongside of him. Greenby, what are your thoughts on Leonard Taylor and the potential that he may have?
Well, I'm with you, man. I mean, wouldn't it be nice? Like, we've been kind of hanging on to Charcuterie for a few years, right? And I have no issue with him, but wouldn't it be really nice if a Leonard Taylor can come in and kind of firmly and securely just kind of push Tanzel Smart off the roster, and be a guy that has real potential to develop into something a little bit more than just, a filler, so to speak. So, I mean, look, the guy was being talked about in the first round conversation at the end of last season, right? We all know that. Guys like Dom C had a 4th round grade on him this year. He ended up being an undrafted free agent. So no matter which way you look at it, that's a steal. Like you end up getting a guy that has real potential as an undrafted free agent. That's Bryce Huff a couple years ago. People thought that he would get drafted in the back end of the draft on day 3, and he ends up making it all the way through, and we get him, and look what he developed into. So, the good news is we don't need this guy to come in and all of a sudden, be something and secure our defensive line. But there's a good group of guys, a good defensive coaching staff for him to work with. They'll know in pretty short order if he's going to be a lazy schlub. Then no fuss, no muss. You know what I mean? You can just kind of move on. But the potential's there, and if they can get to him, I think we might have something. I think it's a really good opportunity for both of us, for the player and the team.
Matt, what are your thoughts on Leonard Taylor III?
I think if you had to pick an undrafted free agent that has the best chance to make the roster, I think it's Leonard Taylor III. Now, I don't know if he's going to come in and start right away, but when you look at the depth on the interior defensive line behind Quinnen Williams, there's a lot to be desired. You have guys on 1-year deals, like Leaky Fotu was a 1-year deal. Same with Solomon Thomas and Javon Kinlaw. So those are, some pretty nice names, but long term, I don't know how long each of those three guys will be here. For Taylor, you mentioned the talent at one point was looked at as a first rounder, even as recently as this, NFL draft process. People had him in like the 4th round. So I think there's a chance that if everything works out and it clicks for him, that he can make the team and be a solid rotational player. And, if there was ever a spot for him to make it, I think it's here with this coaching staff and Quinnen Williams being next to him.
I want to get over to, let's see, Sam pops in. Sam says, after the 2 past flameouts, you'd think most quarterbacks we draft should sit. So obviously talking about Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold. We also started Geno Smith from his get-go and Mark Sanchez from the get-go. So really we haven't had a quarterback sit for a very long time. Like we're talking 20 years. Chad Pennington was the last quarterback that actually sat for us. And you know what? Maybe it has something to do with this environment that you find yourself in New York. We're just thriving or we're dying to get that star and have that solution at the quarterback position. And we just want to crown these guys the minute that they're drafted. And a lot of these guys just need a minute to sit and learn. And I'm not saying Jordan Travis is going to be the franchise quarterback moving forward, but I think at the very least you sit him for 2 years behind one of the best all-time quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to feel pretty good about having him at the very least compete to start in 3 years' time, or maybe compete against a rookie or a veteran, whatever it is. And then you have 2 years to just see what could this kid potentially be. And if he winds up being a career Tyrod Taylor like backup that could be on your team for a long time, the pick was well worth it. Matt, I want to hear from you. What has to happen for you to deem Jordan Travis as a successful pick?
Oh, I think even if he's just a cheap backup quarterback for his rookie contract, I think that is a hit. It's really hard to find quarterbacks, as we know. The Jets have taken how many swings in the first 2 rounds of the draft over the last 15 years or so? It's crazy, and none of them unfortunately have been long-term hits. I would love for Jordan Travis to be the answer after Aaron Rodgers and be this team's version of what Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy or Tom Brady, insert your favorite late round quarterback here. But even if he's just a capable spot starter or backup level quarterback, and I'm talking like a legit backup quarterback, not like Luke Falk. Sorry, Luke Falk. But like someone who could you come in and be like actually semi-functional. That's a win to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give me like a Jacoby Brissett, a Tyrod Taylor, like that level player. That's a successful draft pick. Green Bean, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What would a successful Jordan Travis selection like? What would it have to look like for you to deem it a success?
Well, look, I agree with you guys. I do have higher hopes for him, but they're hopes. I don't. It's not like my fandom is hinging on whether or not he's our starter. But I do think, like you guys said, if he ends up being like our long-term backup, Matt mentioned through the rookie contract, but maybe even longer. What if they love him and he's just, kind of at that level and we just want to keep him around, a la some of my old heads will remember Pat Ryan, who was our backup for seemingly forever. My whole entire childhood, it was like I just thought the Jets, always had the same backup quarterback. I didn't know what was coming and that we'd have this carousel. It was just Pat Ryan. He was there with Richard Todd. He was there with Kenny O'Brien, and when he came in, he was good. You didn't want him to start for too long, but he was good. He gave you adequate play from a backup quarterback. So if he ends up being that, that's fine. But I will say I do have I have a little bit higher hopes for him. I think he's got a pretty unique skill set, as at least as far as what we've seen around here. And if taken care of the right way, I mean, who knows, man? It would be real cool for us to, in 2 years, already have the guy here, knows the system inside and out. We don't have to deal with that bullshit, overthinking in the beginning. Just kind of come in and flow in the offense. Wouldn't that be neat to have that scenario happen for us one time? So I'm going to hope that that's the case for as long as it's possible to do so. But I do agree. I think if we get a nice solid, like you mentioned, Brissett and Taylor and those guys that, if they come in for a game or two, you're going to get good NFL level quarterback play. I mean, shit, going to Tim Boyle and all these guys that we've had, Bryce Petty, and these guys are not NFL quarterbacks. So, even though the starter last year, for example, was not very good, you bring in Tim Boyle and it's actually worse. Like, that's bad. I would really love to avoid that. So if he ends up being that, I'm going to be pretty happy.
And we brought in a few other quarterbacks. I think we got 5 quarterbacks on the roster right now, is what it sounds like. Rodgers, Tyrod, Travis, and then I saw 2 more got signed from the practice squad. That makes a ton of sense to me. I still think Aaron Rodgers might play a series, maybe 2 in preseason, just like we saw last year. We already know what we have in Tyrod Taylor. I don't think he's going to be playing too frequently. So if Travis is healthy and ready to go, he's going to see a ton of snaps, and then you're going to have to obviously split the workload up a little bit. So I think we're just kind of throwing guys at the dartboard here. But one thing I really like about having a quarterback sit, like Jordan Travis is going to have the opportunity to do, the roster turnover year over year is about 30%. So when he, in theory, starts in his 3rd season, the roster would have flipped over about 90%. And the only players left on it that would have been here from before he got here would be like Jermaine Johnson, Sauce, Brees, Garrett, like those types of guys. And at that point, he's one of the longer term or longer veterans on the roster. And I think it's easier to lead a group of guys when they've seen you as a New York Jet for that long. And I think that's something that, our rookie quarterbacks, whether it be Zach or Sam or Gino or Mark, always sort of had some degree of difficulty with, because you're on a team with a ton of veterans that's ready to win now and looking for leadership, and you're trying to figure out how to put your fucking pants on. That's what it sort of seemed like for the last bunch of years. So having this guy sit, I think is really awesome. The Wedge comes in. Thank you so much for the 10 spot. Says, "Go Jets, you guys walk. Be cool." Thanks, dude. Nice. You be cool too. We love you. And boys and girls, make sure you hit those thumbs. For every 25 likes we got on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt qualifier at the end of, or t-shirt qualify throughout the stream. And we're going to give something away at the end of the show. So make sure you hang around, hit those milk thumbs. Support your favorite guys that are stacked like a tiki torch. Not a tiki torch. What are those called? Tiki column, right? I feel like we could be one of those right now. Other things we can get into. Bam! Rookie numbers. A little bit of controversy. Now, remember, these numbers are subject to change. There's 100 people that are going to be on this roster up until cutdown day. Things can switch and move and shake. Not the final numbers, but one that really stood out that had fans a little bothered was Olu Fashanu wearing number 74, Nick Mangold's number. Matt, what were your thoughts when you saw Olu Fashanu rocking the 74?
So I was not one of those people who was pressed over it. I kind of like the passing of the torch from Nick Mangold to Olu Fashanu. Kind of like that last time the Jets were good in the mid 2000s to 2010, 11, and now Olu being that next long-term guy. I'm okay with him rocking the number 74. I just don't know why they gave Bryce Hall's number back right away. Like, that was significantly more disrespectful to me.
Greenby, what'd you think of Olu rocking 74?
Well, I got to admit, like Matt said with Bryce Hall, I'm a little bothered. Like, how can we give Jamal Adams' number away so fast?
I'm more upset
That's
with
about it.
17. I'm like, how is Corley going to wear this number for half the season before Devontae Adams gets shipped over here?
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Well, the good news for now is I guess you can real quick change your Wilson name tag to Corley if you want to do that. But yeah, I don't have the issue either. The number's not retired. There are people who think that it should be. I'm not in that camp. I love Mangold. If he makes it into the Hall, sure. But right now he's a great Jet, and his number's still available. I mean, guys, there's they gotta use numbers. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's good. Like you said, I think it was you, Ryan. You know, the passing of the torch, so to speak. You know, it would be really cool to have, Mangold wear that number for 10 plus years with stellar play, and then move it over to Olu Fashanu and have him be something. The only fear is if he taints it, right? You don't want to taint the number. It's a good number, man. It's solid. But I don't feel, I understand where people are coming from, but I don't feel that way. And that's no shot at Mangold. I love Nick Mangold. But again, he's not in the Hall. He's just a really, really great Jet, and the number's still available. So why not give it to a first-round pick?
Yeah, I'll admit I was definitely a little surprised. I saw it. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't think they would have given him that number. I don't think we've seen number 80, or maybe like very briefly we saw a number 80 since like Wayne was retired. So it's not totally uncommon to see the number not pop up. But like Matt was mentioning before, he said, it's kind of cool to pass that torch. I always liked the way the Cowboys do it with number 88 and that receiver. Like, it'd be like if Sauce inherited 24, because that was like the pass down of like, hey, this is the next great corner number. If there was certain guys that earned those numbers as legacy numbers, I feel like that's kind of a fun way to go about it. Obviously, I understand if you want to, retire 24. Revis made it into our Ring of Honor this year, did he not? And then he's in the Hall of Fame. That number's still available. I think we only have 4 numbers that are retired, I think is what we were talking about. 12, 13, 90, and 73, I think are the only 4.
And 28, I believe.
Is it 28? I did not fact check. That was from a super chat yesterday. So.
Yeah, I think 28 is retired as well. I might be wrong on that one.
Curtis.
They should retire all of them.
Just all 99 numbers, all 100 numbers with 0.
Right. There's been a good Jet that wore every single one.
Braylon Allen's going to be the best one. Best 0. Adrian Amos is currently holding that title.
That's going to be fun. I love that. Fucking Amos wearing it was like, Braylon Allen wearing it. I like that. That's good for me.
We're actually going to see it on the field, which is nice. Matt, it sounded like you wanted to say something.
I was going to say, according to the very reliable Deadspin, the retired numbers are Joe Namath 12, Maynard 13, Martin's 28, 𝐒𝐿'Co's 73, and Bird's number 90.
Ah, nice. There you go. So see, Bean was right.
I was, but you were right too.
I was right for 4 of them because someone told me this.
And I only got one.
I probably would have I guess I would have worked my way around to all of those. 𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐞 says, I got my pillow. This team is stacked. This team is stacked. 𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐞, I'm glad you got your pillow. I dropped the ball on sending you that pillow. He emailed me and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get back to this. And I never got back to this. And then he followed up and I was like, I'm sorry, 𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐞. He goes, I apologize for some of my comments. I said, 𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐞, don't you apologize. I smile every time you send a comment.
Now that's a roast. We were talking about the Tom Brady roast. 𝐻𝐿𝐫𝐞 is the OG roaster in the chat.
Yeah,
he is.
That's good. That's good. Look at the Blair Thomas number too, guys. I can't believe that Davis got Blair Thomas's number. I mean,
Michael Carter's number.
Like,
there's a whole bunch of.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, if somebody's so bad that you just don't ever want to do that to anybody again, shouldn't that be retired too? Can we go the other way with this?
The nice thing for some of those numbers, like specifically 32, 33, 17, Like, those guys are going to see their numbers in the stadium. Like, people might wear a 33 Adams jersey. People might wear a 32 Carter jersey. People might wear a 17 Wilson jersey. And from the front, you're not really going to be able to tell. Like, I mean, heck, if this wasn't a brand new jersey, you wouldn't know that this isn't Morstead. It's actually Garrett Wilson.
Well, and it's like with 33, it's like with everybody in front of you, they don't know. It's only the folks in back. So you gotta sit high up on the, in the top level, and then nobody knows anything. They think you're a Francis Scott Key fan.
Blitzkrieg comes in and says, if Allen is 0, how about calling him the Void? Everything reduced into nothingness in his wake. Blitzkrieg, creativity, A+. But I don't want to give anyone nicknames until they earn it, because I feel like
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's give them like the Smash Bros, that kind of thing. I love it.
So are we going with the Void? Is that the one we're going with, or are we workshopping names? I feel like we got to workshop some names.
I've been liking the Agent Zero. I know that that's what they call anyone who wears 0, but I'm going to be going with Agent Zero. I think the Void's not bad though. I think I just got to hear it a few more times before it catches on.
Agent Zero sounds like a Secret Service type number, and with the VP being on the offensive side, it seems like it, sort of aligns something along that. We'll see. Slugo says 33. Adams 33 should be retired. Smack you.
Right.
Sean says, I would pick 15 or 33. 15's interesting. 15 was that Fitzpatrick?
No, Brandon Marshall.
What
What
was Fitzpatrick's number?
Marshall. 14, I believe.
14. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Frankie drops in the tweet from Schefter. Teams were informed today that the regular season schedule is expected to be released next Wednesday, May 15th. So ticket salesperson, you were wrong. Told us the wrong info.
Maybe she's going to give you the inside scoop, dude.
Maybe the teams find out on the 9th, and they're going to be like, hey, guys for the Talking Jets panel, want to hook you up with some inside information.
If you're listening, we won't tell anybody.
We will not tell a word to anyone except for the people that are in here.
That's right. Only the chat. But other than that, and they're
the chat's
trustworthy.
one entity. It's one colossal brain mesh of insane split personality disorders. That's all one.
That's right. It's just one crazy ass person. The only person that's not trustworthy in the chat is Huge Erection. That's a Green Bay fan who just sits in here and tells us how fucking great Green Bay is. Great name, but I don't trust him. I don't think we can tell him the secrets.
That's just it. We're going to have to mute him. We're going to have to boot him. That's what's going to have to happen.
Blocked.
Everyone can learn except him.
Yeah. We love you on one hand, but trust, that's a whole different thing.
Peter comes in. Certain numbers have been out of circulation, but number 59 is one of them for Kyle Clifton. Does anyone know why no one gets that number? Is this a trivia question, Peter, or is this just like a inquisitive ask? Because I don't know. 59. I would have never even thought about it.
Is that real?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm a huge Kyle Clifton fan, but let me just see here. I'm going to see.
I mean, I could not tell you
when they finally acknowledge that he's Ryan. When they finally acknowledge that he's the NFL's tackle leader, maybe then, and only then, will we acknowledge the number. Yeah, he's it, dude. Holy shit!
That's kind of crazy.
That is kind of cool. I mean, it's like, why not just retire it then? You're just sort of like keeping it away from everyone.
I don't even think he's in our Ring of Honor, dude. Like, he's a completely forgotten man, and it's such bullshit. Like, he led the league in tackles numerous years. He had 199 tackles, no Pro Bowls, dude, nothing. When I put that stat out there, I made a little graphic and put it out there. The great Wayne Corbett grabbed it and wrote, like, it's nice to see somebody acknowledging this. He was a great teammate, fucking great player. I was like, Wayne, come over for dinner. Come to my house. I'm making shrimps.
I love it.
He didn't answer me.
I can't imagine why. Shocked. Absolutely shocked. That is a very cool stat, though. Or cool factoid, Peter S. Greatly appreciated.
Crazy. Look at this, dude. 160 tackles, 174 tackles, 162, 162, 199, 146, 138, 143. Not one Pro Bowl, dude.
So why did he not get acknowledged as like the all-time tackle leader if he's got that many?
Because they started keeping the stat after that.
Stupid. Stuff is
Yeah,
silly.
that's the way it goes. You know how Joe Klecko said, he said it many times, you know, the reason that he never got considered for the Hall for all those years is because he played on a team that wasn't good. And it's not like today where, you know, the internet and there's so many podcasts and writers that even if you're on a bad team, if you're a truly great player, you get acknowledged. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. He was just forgotten. He was just played on the Jets. Nobody gave a shit. And like even the first real football show, at least from what I know, was Inside the NFL with Nick Bonacani and Len Dawson, everybody, on HBO. And when they got to the Jets games, and this is back in the 80s and shit, they would do like 20 minutes on the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. And then they'd go, and the Jets played. Like that was it. It was like 30 seconds. I'd watch the whole show for 30 seconds. They go, the Jets lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-3. You know, that was it. And then, you know, so, you know, Kyle Clifton played on those teams. You know, it was just, it was a terrible era for the most part for Kyle Clifton.
Man, that's disappointing. We stink. Stunk. We don't stink anymore.
Nope.
We're better.
7 wins, baby.
We'll have more than 7 wins. It's gonna happen.
Well, that's what we have now. I'm just saying.
That is true. You are what your record says you are.
That's
Sam
what
says,
Parcells
which division rival do you want to face first? Which team would you want to blow out? So I very much want to face the Patriots first, like Green Bean has alluded to earlier in the stream, but I want to blow out the Dolphins the most. The Dolphins are the team that I just have no interest in, like, conceding an inch for. Like, if we can beat them into submission, that would make me oh so happy. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still Pats for me for both, but like Miami sneaking up there because I don't know, like obviously the Buffalo Bills are a rival, but I've had like actual conversations with Bills fans and like been able to talk football and have like a relationship with that person and like talk ball with them. Dolphins fans, I feel like I can't do that. It's like these savage beasts almost that just can't compute things, and they could be humbled. So I'm in on that as well, unless our guy Dan Meehan's in here, because that is a Dolphins fan who is very often in our comments. That usually is pretty good, so I will give him some love. Not Dan, but the rest of them.
Yeah, I can't say every Dolphin fan is like that, but man, I would very much like to see Dudley Do Wrong and TD Finns talk. Just like, there's something like satisfying about watching the tears come down, and like it kind of makes me have a huge erection as well. Green Bean, your thoughts on what division rival do you want to face first, and what team do you want to blow out? Now, he says, which team do you want to blow out? It doesn't necessarily have to be a division rival, I guess, because it's two separate questions. I did not take it like that. So, Bean, answer that what you will.
I really want to blow out the Commanders. The fucking Pats, Sam. I want the Pats. Look, we beat them at the end of last season, right? We sent Belichick grumbling into the hallway. You know, you could hear him just walking off the field down the stairs. So that ended that. I think what was it, 15 straight losses to them. So it ends that. I would really like for that to be game one of a streak of our own. And again, like I said earlier, I really would love to take advantage of the opportunity. I hope the NFL gives it to us to take advantage of the opportunity of them having a rookie quarterback, as good as he may be, but he's going to be frazzleable, right? With Quinnen Williams, JJ, Reddick, and the crew chasing him down. Send Quincy Williams in there on a well-timed blitz and that sort of thing, and let Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed pluck his balls out of the air. I think that it's a really good opportunity for us to impose our will on the young Patriots offense, particularly their quarterback. So that's the one I want, man. That's the one I want first. The truth is, I'd love to blow them all out, as I'm sure you would as well, Sam. But if I had to pick one to blow out and to play first, it's the Pats. I hate Miami, hate them, and their fans are just, like Matt was saying, they're the worst, dude. I mean, and I lived in Miami for 15 years. I worked in Miami. I went to every Jets game down there for probably 10 years with a diehard Miami fan, Miami born and bred kind of guy. And while he was cool and all, just the fans, dude, they're the worst. And they don't really, I mean, not to say that there aren't Miami fans who know their shit. That's obviously going to be part of the cake. But by and large, they're a bunch of morons, and they're fair weather fans, and they don't really root for the team or watch the team when they suck. Like, here we are, right? Like, when we have 3 wins and shit, we're right here going, blah, 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 we should do this and play this guy and that guy. We're still right. They're not doing that for the most part. They're a bunch of jagaloons, and they just pretend. Like, Miami's a very kind of showy area. You know what I mean? Like, I bring up the example all the time when LeBron James was down there for the Miami Heat. Like, you couldn't get a ticket, dude. Like, the last row in the arena was $500, $600 to get in. The year he left, I shit you not, and I don't mean like later the year, opening tickets they were selling on Groupon when LeBron James left. It was like 4 for $50, like that kind of a thing. You know, like, so Miami's just like that. It's about the scene. It's about the show. It's all that. And their fans, the diehards, you see them on Twitter constantly, man. They're just, I mean, they're like, I think Matt said it well. You can't even have a real football conversation with them. They're just, they're the worst. So, and Miami's my most hated rival, because that's like, I grew up in the Jets Miami thing. That was the big one. So I hate Miami like nothing else, but we owe the Pats a little bit of blood. And I'd like to see, I don't want them to wait till, who's their quarterback? Is it Drake May?
Yeah.
I don't want to wait until he's got 10 games under his belt before we finally get a crack at him. I want him week 2. That's what I want.
Greg comes in and says, to me, the biggest rival will always be the Dolphins. Recency bias would say the Patriots, but I lived through the Marino years. So, Greg, I would say my rivalry thoughts started with Miami. Then Brady came to New England, and it was New England up until probably last year. Honestly, like, maybe even the year before that. Like, once Brady left, there was a little bit of like, it's not quite the same as it was. Belichick was still there. I still hate him. So that was good enough. For me, it's definitely the Dolphins. And it's teams that have been more relevant recently. And for whatever reason, I just don't hold the Bills in that same light. Like, I respect the Bills. I think they have a good team. I think their quarterback is really good. I think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Like, I saw Frankie from Flatbush threw in a comment. In games where the temperature is below 45 degrees, Tua has exactly 0 wins. So there's
Oh.
like just this aura of like our shit doesn't smell from Miami when they have, I know it's not a playoff drought, but a playoff win drought feels like it's equally, if not worse, than what the Jets are currently on, considering theirs is 20 some odd years at this point, and the Jets have won 6, I think, since the last time the Dolphins have won one. So I don't know. I feel like Dolphins fans are all high and mighty right now, and I want to knock them down a few pegs. Matt, anything you think when you think biggest rival? Is it still Patriots for you?
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting to see the different perspectives, right? Like, sorry, Green Bean, but Green Bean goes back the furthest out of all of us, and Greg says that he's lived through the Marino years, where like that wasn't a thing for me. I became a fan in the early 2000s, so all I knew was Tom Brady. I didn't know, pre-Patriots, the Patriots pre-Tom Brady. I wasn't, old enough to realize what was going on. So it was Pats by far for a very, very long time. And, since I've been watching football, I haven't seen the Miami Dolphins win a playoff game. So I don't really yes, they're the biggest rival, I would say now, just because, they're right there, them and the Bills. I don't have that same feeling towards Buffalo. Maybe that changes with, some of the Deion Dawkins comments from last year. But, I think the Dolphins being a big rival is more of a recency thing for me. I don't, I wasn't around for the Marino years, so I don't really remember them.
Greenman, when you think of the Jets' biggest rival, does it harken back to Belichick, or is it further back for you? Like, what is the team that resonates to you as our biggest rival?
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to ignore the domination that the Pats have had. And, so I think, paying attention to the last fucking 20 plus years, it's got to be the Pats. But like was said, like the Marino years were brutal. And the whole thing is that while Marino was this like upper echelon elite quarterback, we always hung with him. Kenny O was better than Dan Marino for about 2 years there. He led the league in passing and touchdowns, and so it wasn't like we didn't have anything, so we were kind of Marino's nemesis, but it was just I looked at it more as a rivalry because you never knew who was going to win. Like they always played each other well, even if one team was kind of on the on the lower end of the league and one team was good. Like they always played each other well. I didn't feel that way with the Pats, even though I wanted to win and all that. The Pats kind of spanked us for a long time there. And it's so while I hate them and I want to fucking make them pay, rivalry is a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like there was complete and utter domination from the Pats for a long time. We had one win based on, the most recent win before this season was because of the botched overtime coin toss thing. And then maybe not because of it, but that didn't hurt. They said heads and the guy's like, tails it is. And they, whatever it was, I forget exactly how it happened, but that kind of shit needed to come into play for us to win. And so like with the Dolphins though, like all through the 80s, like my entire childhood into the 90s, it was Jets Dolphins. Like the Pats sucked, the Bills sucked. And then the Bills came, when they got Jim Kelly and they did that whole run of 4 Super Bowls, like they were badass, man. And there was a long stretch where we didn't beat them. It was like 4 or 5 straight years of not beating the Bills. So that was another rivalry. The truth is the AFC East they're our rivals, and it ebbs and flows and all that shit. But for me personally, it's the Dolphins because of, my childhood and kind of that coming of age period. Like, look, the fake spike was Marino. And that was on a rookie, Aaron Glenn. That fake spike pass touchdown was right in the face of our highly touted rookie cornerback, Aaron Glenn. and it was painful. I was at that game, and we were up to, I think it was 24-6 in the fourth quarter, and we were literally, they were playing the happy music in the stadium, you know, like whatever it is, whatever it is, the happy music.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
maybe
hey,
not that one
goodbye.
yet, right? That maybe, but like, you know, the like that kind of shit. And you're like, we were like literally dancing. I was all drunk and everything. I was having the fucking best time, man. We're kicking their ass because the team that won that game was in first place in the AFC East. We lost on the most ridiculous. I literally yelled. Just listen to this. This is how bizarre that fake spike really was. I yelled, "That's illegal!" Like I had no fucking idea. I never said anything like that. That's illegal. Like you can't pretend, or I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But think about this. We lost that game. We were playing for first place. We lost that game. Lost the rest of the games that year. Fired Pete Carroll. Hired Rich Kotite. Won 4 games over the next 2 years. So playing for first place, Dan Marino fake spikes us, and we won 4 games in the next 2.5 years. Think about that. You know?
That's insane.
So that's why I fucking hate them sons of bitches, man. I hate them.
Oh, geez. Harlan says, O'Leary, before you were born, the Boston Patriots and the New York Jets traded quarterbacks. They traded Curtis Martin. That was like the only experience I had with a trade until the Demaryius Thomas trade recently, I think.
Traded quarterbacks. Who? Tony Eason?
Got me. I have no idea.
The Boston Patriot. That's some old shit. Who is this? Harlan? How old are you, buddy? You older than me, man?
Did you guys see on the roast, Brady said that thing about Deflategate? Like, oh, if you had paid me $20 million, I would have just said I did it. It's like, I don't think it's so much an admission as much as it is like you guys spent $20 million to get probably and most likely, you know, was aware someone deflated his balls.
Yeah, and that's him. That's a neatly veiled, I did it.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. He is.
3-3 Rangers. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go.
Fuck Brady.
Just under 14 minutes left in the third period. I got excited.
Yeah, I'm looking back at that 94 season. That seems very reminiscent to 2022 almost, right? Being where you're in it and then you just lose out 6+ games and there goes your season.
Dude, let me tell you, that 2022, when we were all talking shit, you know, we had those like fourth quarter comebacks and the Cleveland game was kind of squirrely a little bit, right? When they were bringing their kids on the field and shit, and we just kept playing and we ended up beating them. But yeah, the idea of losing 7 straight and not making the playoffs and having a losing record, like we were, you know, we had 7 wins with 7 games left. It was like, of course we're going to win 9 games. You know what I mean? But that's exactly the kind of thing, Matt. It's like, you know, the Jets, they do that shit to us. Like, I don't think too many teams deal with it in the same way that we do and have as many examples of just complete and utter collapse. Like there, you know, obviously shit happens to every team, but the Niners don't do this.
No.
You know?
Must be nice.
John,
yeah. You know what it feels like.
Red John comes in and says, you guys remember the Colts being in the AFC East? I do. I remember being young and being like, why do we have to face the Colts? I was young in the car. I didn't understand what divisions were. And then the Texans came in, I think it was 2000, and they realigned everything, or 2001. They realigned everything. And then I was like, it didn't occur to me until I was like, you know, a few years later, I was like, wait, what happened to the Colts? They were in our division. And then I was like, oh, they added a team and they made more people. So like, I was definitely, I was young when the Colts were in our division still. But I do remember. I mean, heck, imagine if we had an entire, Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning twice a year, not including the playoffs. That would be a wild, wild division. But we didn't do much with it anyway. So, it wouldn't have mattered.
The Jets would have had like a 30-year playoff drought by now at this point if that stayed the same between Peyton and then Andrew Luck. And thank God they got out of there.
Yeah, Greenby, what did you think about the Colts being in the Jets division?
Well, while they were the dregs. So it was like, I mean, it's funny. One of my first ever comedy jokes, like literally, I got up for an open mic, inspired by a lot of Jack Daniels, but I got up at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, and my first ever joke was about the Jets. And one of the reference points that I used in that joke was sitting in the stadium losing 6-3 to the Colts. And it sounds like, that's a funny thing. But the truth is that I've done that. That's real. You know what I mean? So I remember them being in our division, and the Jets Colts games, like, you know how I just mentioned, like the Jets Miami games, didn't matter who was shitty and who was good. Like they were always, most of the time, they were really good games, very competitive. You never knew who was going to. The Jets Colts was the opposite. It was a shit show. It just sucked. But when they changed the divisions, Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Colts, and I was pretty happy to get that fuck out of our division. Like I had it, I'm like, good, get this guy, get him and 𝐒 James and Marvin Harrison, get these guys out of here. So I was pretty happy that they realigned it. Plus, the truth is that I liked, it didn't make sense. Like the divisions were all over the place. The Cardinals were in the NFC East and made no sense. There was a few examples like that. So I thought getting the Colts out of here was good. In hindsight, it might have been nice to see Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in the AFC East together, because make no mistake, the Pats were helped by the shittiness of our division, because they got 4 to 6 free wins every year. Imagine that. So when you're battling with the other good teams in the conference for who's going to get home field advantage or whatever, they got a free 4, 5, 6 wins sometimes, because the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins couldn't get their heads out of their asses for decades. So it would have been nice to have Peyton Manning here, like making Tom Brady know, like, hey, dude, it's not all about you, and I'm here. I can kick your ass. Even though Brady, I believe the head-to-head record, Brady is ahead on that, but still, Peyton Manning can beat anybody on any day. So it might have been nice for that, but shit, having to go against both of those guys, man, it would have been even worse for us. We suck, dude. I just want to tell everybody real quick, if you haven't been paying attention to the Jets history, we have not been good. Just want to share that with everybody.
History lesson here with Green Bean. The more you know.
So bad.
Whatever
So
that,
bad,
that sound
Ryan.
is. I had something I wanted to say in there. Something about teams we were playing. Oh, yeah, like if you were to realign the divisions, I always see this on Reddit, once or twice a year, people put it up. They're like, oh, if you realign the teams for where they would geographically make sense, like the Arizona Cardinals being in the AFC East made absolutely no damn sense. The Dallas Cowboys being in the NFC East, NFC East for the Cardinals, but NFC East for Dallas Cowboys makes no damn sense. Like you would think like a division of the Dolphins, Jaguars, Buccaneers, and I saw that comment in here, and the Falcons, that would be, a South team. And then the, one of the East teams could be the Jets, the Bills, the Patriots, and Philadelphia. Or, heck, you could even throw the Steelers, the Ravens, the friggin',
but you know what was cool about that, Ryan, is that they did honor true rivalries. Like
Sure.
they were, you know what I mean? Like, so that was one of the factors. Like it was geographical, but then if there were like real rivalries that were long-standing and fruitful, so to speak. They honored that, so that's kind of why the Dallas Cowboys are still there. So I can respect that.
It'd be kind of cool to see like a realignment of like, I sort of like how some other sports do it, where it's not so much division as much as it is like AFC versus NFC. And like maybe we play more of those teams more frequently, but I guess then you get rid of all those division matchups, and the NFC or the AFC North matchups are always like highly vaunted. You still have the ratings pull for, Jets Patriots or some of the East games. I feel like the NFC has a lot of the juggernaut stuff. Like the NFC East is just such a tough division to compete with from like a rivalry perspective. Sneakers to Boots comes in. It says, football gods will repay us for all the ball kicking we've received the last 30 years. Aaron Rodgers playing 4 plays had to be the peak. Pendulum will be swinging back. Sneakers to Boots, it's got to swing back. We thought it was swinging back the minute we got Rodgers, and then it swung back, and we accidentally stood too close to the grandfather clock, and it just dinged us square in the nads. That's what happened to us. So hopefully nads. NADS.
Well,
short for gonads.
We had to wait for the uniform change, everybody. It was incomplete. You know what I mean?
Fact. They're like, hey, Sam Darnold stinks, Zach Wilson stinks forever, and then, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. Let's make him stink for a season. Boom.
That's right.
Blown Achilles.
That's right.
There's never been anything more due for some success. They're due, right? Like if you're a gambler, don't you think like you're playing roulette and you're trying to get your number? Like this number's been cold. They're due. They're due for one.
It just has to happen. It's like when you get a zillion, you're betting red every time, and just keep saying black. It's like, well, I'm going to keep betting on red because it's going to have to double or nothing, double or nothing, double or nothing, double or nothing. Just keep throwing down. You'll eventually get it back. Gator comes in. Gator says, you guys should do a mock draft type exercise with NFL realignment. Start with only the Jets and Giants in their current divisions. Populate the rest with chat votes. That'd be kind of fun. We could do that. That's not going to be a tonight thing because it's going to take way longer than a half hour.
Yeah,
that'd be kind
Gators.
of fun.
See, Gators like you, Ryan. You guys are super smart. I really don't even know what that means.
So we could have like
I have no idea.
I could put all the logos on the screen with names of the different divisions, and we could just vote like I don't even know because we can only add 4 names to a vote. So like maybe just people rattle off a bunch of stuff in the chat saying like, what would we say? Like, hey, AFC East, boom, list off your 4 names, and then we'll just drag all the teams over to that division. We'll just realign the NFL to the Talkin' Jets way of life. I like it, Gator. I'm a fan.
Yeah, when we do that, I'm gonna go in the chat. Watch.
It's all right. You can sit where you're sitting and just
caveman.
watch.
I'm like Rich Kotite. That's you want to talk about Rich Kotite? Yeah, if you want to talk about fucking Kotite or Weeb, I'll do that with you. This shit is fucking beyond my pay grade.
Blitzcrew says, if Treylon Burks for a day 3 pick, would you go for it? I don't think so. I mean, maybe at like the trade deadline or something like that, if we couldn't get a Devontae Adams and maybe we're missing like someone goes down with an injury, maybe I consider it. But I don't really like what Treylon Burks has shown so far. Matt, what would you do if this was offered?
No, I'm gonna pass on that. And I like Treylon coming out of school, but it just hasn't worked. And I'm not looking to take on someone else's project right now. I don't think the Jets are in that spot. I'd rather go with someone who's a little bit more of a known commodity. I get what Blitzcrew is saying, though, right? Like in theory, there's someone who's a first round pick talent, just hasn't worked where he is. I just don't want to take that gamble.
Green Bee, what about you? What do you think about Treylon Burks? Will you trade for him for a third day 3 pick?
Let's take a look at the old stats. Let's see.
Ryder reminds us that Blewett never liked him. That's fact. There's a few guys that Blewett is like either highly against or highly for, and it's nice to see when it plays out that way because he's crazy with his 1.5 hour, 2 hour long film breakdowns, and he's so in depth with all of it. and like it's nice to see him get his credit.
Yeah, I mean, look,
When it's due.
I don't, I think it's nice to see that a lot more people. I feel like Blewett's a known commodity, of course, but I feel like this pre-draft season, I think a lot of people that maybe didn't know about Blewett were turned on to him, which is nice to see. Because I mean, can anybody deny the guy knows his shit? You know what I mean?
Dude, he's such an easy talk too. Like you just throw
Oh,
him
I
on
love, right?
I could sit and bullshit with Blewett for friggin' hours.
Yeah,
like
he's the
we've
goods,
had it
dude.
before. We hop on a stream and then we end the stream and we're like, oh yeah, we could only do this for an hour. And then we talk for another hour off stream. We're like, we could have just done this on stream.
Yeah. Well, Treylon Burks, who I also liked coming out, has had a total of 84 receptions in 2 years. So, no, 49 receptions. I'm sorry, that was his targets. 665 yards. So last year he played 11 games. He had 221 yards on 16 receptions. He had 0 touchdowns, 8 first downs. So, I mean, what kind of day 3 pick are you for what? I mean, you know what the thing is? And it's funny. I was talking to Frankie from Flatbush about this, who, by the way, if you guys didn't know, hung out with us on the show that he used to co-host for a while, the Thursday Thick of It last week. It was really, really great to have Frankie back, man. He's another one that I just love talking to. But he pointed out that the Jets really do like Brownlee and Gibson. Like we have 4 receivers ahead of them, but here they are. And they didn't, look, they could have grabbed a receiver at any point, in front, instead of the second running back, instead of, Stiggers, they could have very easily grabbed another wide receiver. They didn't. And it's not that guys weren't there that could definitely come into a wide receiver 5 type of a situation and give you something. They like these guys, and you think about it, they were undrafted free agents. They're going into year 2. They now have a year in the system. Gibson got a lot of playing time. Brownlee did at the end of the year last year. Irv Charles is another one. He's going into his 3rd year. He's kind of, in my opinion, secured his spot with special teams, but I don't know what, the new rules will do to him, but he's pretty, he's, at least last year, he was kind of behind Hardy. He was like the guy on special teams. So I would imagine he has a spot. But like you look at it, we got Garrett Wilson, Mike Wallace, Mike Williams. We have Malachi Corley, Alan Lazard is here, an Aaron Rodgers guy. That's our 4. So to have 2 guys at 5 and 6 that are young and have developmental potential and are now going into their 2nd year, there's a lot to be said for that. Like what's Treylon Burks given us, that those guys can't, so to speak. So I don't know. I don't see it, man. And would I do it? I would have went out and got Tyler Boyd. I don't know what the fuck is going on around here, but that's well, I'll stop saying it maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll fucking stop with the Tyler Boyd shit. But I just don't see it. I don't see what he's going to bring that is better than what they have as far as the guys they want to develop and the guys that are entrenched in their positions. I don't think it's anything worth really considering.
Do we know what Tyler Boyd signed for? I know Odell was like 1 year, $3 million up to 8.6, I think. I didn't see what Boyd's contract was.
4.5.
Yeah. 4.5.
So much lower than he was expected to get.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably felt like he would have been closer to that 10, 11 million number that
Yeah.
Lazard had.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere like 6 on the low end, 8 to 9. You know what I mean? Like 6 to 9, let's say. 4.5 is a deal, dude. It's a deal. Will Levis, look, I'll tell you what, if they're evaluating that young fella, they got the horses to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if he can't do it with these guys, at least look competent consistently, then they have an issue.
The Wedge comes in and says, "We want revenge. Go Jets." Yeah. Want revenge on the league. Sucks. We lost everything last year.
We owe everybody a good punch in the face. That's what we owe. The whole league. Including Goodell. Fucking asshole.
Especially Goodell.
Right?
Yeah, he deserves a swift kick.
Right there.
Just a big old jerk. That guy.
Yeah. Right. I'm with the
Do you guys know anything about the Kendrick Drake beef going on at all?
Zero.
Zero.
Who's Kendrick Drake, man?
Oh, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Dude.
What's going on?
Kendrick dropped a really good diss track. It was really good. You don't get to hear too many of them anymore. I don't feel like you get it. But this was like needed. It was nice. Beck and I've been listening to it on repeat. It's just it's fun. If you haven't listened to it, highly recommend it.
From what I've seen on Twitter, Kendrick has been dominating. But I can't say that I've listened to either of the songs.
Oh man. So like I don't know how it all started, like, but I know Kendrick dropped 3 songs in like a 48-hour span, and then Drake dropped one like right after and didn't really confront one of the allegations that Kendrick made about him. That was a pretty serious allegation. And God, the one song Kendrick released is definitely more of like has a really nice beat to it, and like people are gonna be dancing to it. And it's like, wow, this song is just gonna be all over the place. And Drake's gotta fucking take it on the chin. I really enjoyed it.
So let me just be clear here. Drake is one person and Kendrick is another. Not Kendrick Drake.
Kendrick Lamar is the name. He came up probably around 2008, 2009, if I had to guess. And
I gotta catch up. I'll tell you what. The last rap group I like is Tribe Called Quest. Everybody. Q-Tip. That's the shit.
They launched, like, once they found out Q-Tip watches the show, it was like, all right, I gotta start listening to a little bit more of them. I got not a hoodie. I've got a sweatshirt in my my closet.
Yeah, there it is.
I gotta get a hat. I don't have a hat.
I got a hat if you want one. I got a whole bunch.
I like it.
He sent me like a care package.
Yeah.
Like 3 different kinds of hoodies for me, my wife, my son, my daughter. Okay. Hats for all of us, coffee mugs, like all kinds of shit. Our house is Tribe Called Quest Central.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And it's funny. Did I tell you guys, my wife is a huge, not only Tribe Called Quest fan, but Q-Tip fan. And she was, when she found out like that he called me one time, whatever. He said, hey, give me a call. And I called and I was like, okay, this isn't really that guy. You know what I mean? And it was. And my wife, for a week she could not get over it. Like,
did she watch us with Q-Tip on? I guess Q-Tip was hidden, but we had him on.
Did she? You know what? I don't know. I didn't check. But I'll tell you what.
Obscure time in the middle of the draft.
Yeah, but she was all over me when he was gracious enough to take me to training camp. She was all over that shit. Like every 15 minutes, like, hey, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Send me a picture. What's happening? You guys talking? What are you doing? Like it was like
just here's my picture with Quinn and Williams. Bam.
Yeah, dude. She's a legit like diehard of his. So that's fucking cool.
I love it. Q-Tip, you're the man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Shit, man. So I don't know about Drake, but I do know about that.
So Drake started, I forget the show he was originally on to begin. He was on he played a kid in a wheelchair, and then he became a rapper. What was it?
Degrassi.
Degrassi, there it is. He probably became a rapper 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in that stretch of years. So I guess right around the same time. And like, I mean, both have put out really good songs. Kendrick's a really good, like you sit down and you have all the lyrics in front of you. And I feel like I was like that with Eminem and Nas and some of those guys, like real lyricists, not just like a catchy beat, but occasionally they get one that's like a catchy beat and like a nice few verses. It's worth a listen. Worth a listen if you like that sort of stuff. What are we talking about in the chat? Kind of went off the rails a little bit. DMX is from Mount Vernon. I didn't know that.
Didn't he die?
He did. Yeah. R.I.P.
I'm gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. Isn't that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some good shit, man.
Where the
That
Hood
shit
At is a good was a good one by him. Where the Hood At got me like fired up in the gym. Like, let's go. Ready to run through a wall.
I feel like that's like the middle school football locker room playlist song, like right before you run out to take the field. It was that and Remember the Name.
Yeah. Fort Minor. Dude,
Yep.
Linkin Park's doing a reunion tour. They have a new singer to fill in for Chester.
Okay.
I think it's a girl, actually, that's going to be doing his lines. I would definitely, if you guys haven't seen Linkin Park, really, really good concert. Big Linkin Park fan. Saw them on at Jones Beach twice. Saw them at the Old Giants Stadium. Was supposed to see him at Citi Field. That was the week after Chester was no more.
That was sad. I worked in radio at the time. I remember when that news came out. That was shocking. I'll never forget that and Macklemore, because not Macklemore, the other one, Mac Miller. Sorry.
Oh, dude, I was like, no way. I totally missed the Macklemore one.
I apologize, Mac Miller, because I was at work. I was in the radio station both times. It's crazy.
Yeah, when Chester died, that I remember like just crying, just like so upset. I was like, no, like I was supposed to see it was actually going to be Linkin Park and Blink-182, so it was like the two like most influential bands of like my childhood, and then to lose Chester the week before I was finally going to be able to see it was just crushing. And then Mac Miller, I don't remember where I was when I heard Mac Miller died. I remember where I was when Michael Jackson died. That was like oh wow, wait a second. I was up above our garage. I got the tweet. It was like a not like an attic garage. It was like a loft kind of garage.
There you go.
Fucking Gators. We're all talking about different hip hop, and he's bringing up Frank Sinatra.
I was not a Sinatra guy. I listened to so much Sinatra. I used to work in an Italian restaurant, and they always had this like Sinatra impersonator come in, and I've listened to a ton of Sinatra. Not for me.
You're tired of it though. By that point,
yeah,
appreciate it.
It's every Friday, Saturday night. They'd be like, "All right, here's the old guy on the ones and twos," and like I'm like, "All right, time to go deliver some pizzas." Like I can't sit in the restaurant anymore. Gotta go.
I love Sinatra.
Hello? You guys talk about it in there. King Blaze says Nas new solo is called Define My Name. I'll go listen to that.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here.
I'm surprised Green Bean knows that song. That was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, man, I'm cool.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I would think that. Frankie from Flatbush saying Mac Miller was from Pittsburgh. Yeah, didn't he have a song with Wiz Khalifa, who's also from Pittsburgh? Did they do Black and Yellow together, or was that just Wiz?
Great question. I feel like I want to say yes, because I remember that song being very popular when the Jets played the Steelers in the playoffs. That, which I hated that song after that because it made me think of the Steelers. I hated the Steelers then.
That's
still
fair.
do.
I saw Wiz at
song by that guy.
I saw Wiz up in Binghamton. He came. He was one of like the student concerts. There was a very strong smell of Weed the People. I think he was hanging out there.
No.
Dude, when we saw him at, I was with you too at training camp when we saw Weed the People, right?
Yep.
Ah, so funny. I haven't seen the name pop up in the chat in a bit.
I hope he's well.
I hope he's well. I hope he didn't fall like James.
Yeah.
He tripped?
Keeps falling.
Yeah, James always falls. Weed the People. If he's not paying attention. We got a minute 38 left in the third.
It was X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. Remember that shit?
Yes. What were you saying before?
Who?
I thought you. Yeah, were you saying it wrong? I thought you had it right the first time.
It's a different.
Oh, different song.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like when I was in high school, that was you guys might not remember this shit, but like 2 Live Crew. You remember 2 Live Crew?
No.
Who remembers? They were like, they kind of started that like super crazy inappropriate, like just ridiculously inappropriate rap. But then NWA came out. Now listen to this. This is before they didn't get any radio play or anything. We didn't have CDs yet. It was very early. So like NWA from California had to make it all the way to New Jersey on like passed around cassette tapes. Like people would make tapes and it would just get passed around. So I had NWA and Eazy-E and DOC, all those guys like on these tapes. And I loved NWA. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. So like, yeah, man. And like, even before that, dude, like I was all metal, all rock and roll, like, don't get me wrong. But like, I loved KRS-One, like Boogie Down Productions. And I loved Run DMC, like the early shit. But once it started getting past that, like I just kind of lost.
Eminem, Jay-Z.
Yeah, Eminem.
I mean, Dre would be in that,
okay.
right? Like, because that would be earlier.
Well, Dre was NWA, so anything
Yeah.
Dre did, like the Chronic and all that shit, like I liked anything Dre did. Interestingly enough, he was my favorite in NWA.
Sure.
Even though he would only like rap on a couple songs, I always liked the way that he did it. So anything that he did, I was into it. But yeah, man, I'm cooler than you guys think, man. I'm old and shit, but you know.
We like hanging out with you, Green Bean.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's charity. I appreciate it.
That's not charity. Come on.
End of regulation, 3-3. Rangers.
You gotta get your Butchie Overtime Challenge in.
My what?
You don't know about the Butchie Overtime Challenge?
I have no idea what that is. Means nothing to me.
There's someone, John Butchergross of ESPN, for years. If you predict, you have 2 guesses, one from each team. The goal scorer of the game-winning goal, he will send you merch.
Oh, interesting.
So you got to get your guesses in.
Zibanejad. It's the only jersey I got. And I love saying his name. Makes you smile. I'm starting to branch out. Watch more hockey, watch more basketball. Haven't watched a whole lot of baseball. Not this year, at least. It's nice seeing teams from New York like actually in the playoffs and like doing well.
I was just gonna say, now's the perfect time to hop on a Rangers or Knicks bandwagon. Both teams in the playoffs and doing well.
I'm 3 for 3 on going to Ranger games right now. In the 3 games I've been to, they've won all of them. I went to last year's playoff game against the Devils. That was really good. That was fun.
You got to get you in the building every night. Then they should be paying you 82 times a year.
Hey, someone who's a Rangers fan that either has tickets or just thinks that I'm a good luck charm and wants to see him win. Hook a brother
There
up.
you go.
I'll go to the game. My buddies went to the Knicks game last night. I was like, dude, how was that? That was nuts. They were like 15 rows behind one of the hoops. The side that Toppin like put the ball between his legs and dunked, they were like right behind that hoop. He goes, that was an awesome dunk, but I hated it. Because obviously like back in the Garden.
Yeah, that must have been a fun game to be at for a big win like that.
Richie's going to the one tomorrow. He'll be at that game.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be over on the AFC East roundtable with those guys for like an hour. So if you guys want to hang out over there for a little bit, before you head over to Green Bean and Tigo, hang out there for a bit. Farouk says, silly predictions. Who scores first Jets touchdown?
Brees.
Yeah, Brees. It was going to be Brees. That was going to be my guess as well. I feel like he's just going to rip off like a 75-yard fucking run.
If A-Rod didn't go down last year, I mean, you saw Brees was ready.
Yeah.
Yep. He popped off. Well, how long was that first run that he had to the left? What was that, 21
yards? It was like 23 yards or something. Yeah, it was like, as soon as he ripped off that run, I was like, we're going to the fucking Super Bowl. Like, I got to buy my tickets now.
Dude, the confidence was through the roof. And then Aaron Rodgers goes back to pass, and it's incomplete, and we get a defensive holding. I was like, oh, this is a totally new experience, man. I don't know what this is. But, it changed in the short order. But Brees Hall, if Aaron Rodgers didn't go down, even though the passing game would have settled, Brees Hall was all about Brees.
Mm-hmm.
That I think he was going to own that shit. And it's a shame, man. I think Brees Hall is going to show the NFL. Realistically, you think Brees can pop off for 2,000 on the ground?
I don't think it'll be on the ground. I think it's going to be all purpose, but I do think he eclipses 2,000 yards.
How much on the ground?
1,400.
What do you think, Matt?
I was going to go 6 through the air.
I was going to go like 1,300 on the ground and 700 through the air.
I'll take it.
I feel like 2,000 is going to be tough, like on the ground by itself. I mean, we'd have to be leading in every game for that to really come into.
Which we're gonna.
But that's also also the case of, do you run Brees? So we had an interesting question yesterday, Jeremy and I. Do you, like, obviously you're going to have Brees getting at least like 60% of the rushing snaps, but with that other 40%, would you prefer to beat up on teams early and then hit them with Brees, or hit them with Brees early and then beat them into submission with some of the younger guys like Allen and Davis? Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, really. I think you want to save Brees a little bit. So I'm going to say you spread it out. I don't think you run one into the ground, not into the ground, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't lean on one in particular at a certain point in the game. So I would say just keep it split. But that's why they drafted the two running backs, is because they prepare to be leading and they want to pound the rock and wind down the clock.
Bean, what about you? What if you had to like kind of lean on some of the younger backs earlier and then hit them with Brees, or Brees early and then hit them with the younger backs and like a little bit more of like the bully ball later on in the game? What would you prefer?
Yeah, well, when you say early, you mean game specific, not season.
Correct. Right? Game specific, not like where you can wear down a team within the duration of the one game.
Yeah, I think it's smart, like fourth quarter, to save Brees if we're up. Because we get, look, that's why we got these guys. You know what I mean? Ball possession, kind of grind it out. I think Brees Hall, there's a great comment in there by Horatio Hornblower about, look at what Brees, like, look how good he was with stacked boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Could you imagine, like, with the real passing threat and they can't stack the box? It's like, I think Brees is gonna go off, but I think it's smart. Like, we talk about it all the time, guys being ready for week one and all that. And that's obviously important. But the truth is that the teams that win in late November, December, they're the ones that get into playoffs. So like, you want to make sure that you're not completely wearing out your weapons, the first half of the season, running Brees 40 times in week 3, You don't want to do that. And look, now we have a nice running back stable, young legs, pounders, so you can take some of that off them. If we're up, I think the smart move, even at the behest of his stats, would be to fold in these young guys, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, even Izzy. So yeah, I think that's what we'll see if we're smart.
�'𝐶∞ comes in and says, "Gosh, I love all this Breece Hall talk. Usually got to choke myself for a while to get this excited. We haven't heard a good Yankee Doodle story in a bit." Matt sent Green Bean and I a picture of a Yankee Doodle store near him, and it just made us laugh so hard.
Yeah, true story. Right? I will give a shout out because my favorite bar was the local in Babylon. It's right by the train station, and recently opened across the street. Kind of is a store called Yankee Doodle Dandy, and I stopped in my tracks walking from the parking lots with Taylor, and she goes, "What?" And I took a picture, and then I explained the story, and it was everything that needed to happen. It was tremendous.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I double taked it and immediately took the picture. I was like, I got to send that to Ryan and Green Bean right now.
If it was a really dirty store, it'd be called Yankee Doodle Handy.
Oh, I like what you did there.
Oh, geez. Boys and girls, hit that like button. We're going to pick some qualifiers right now. We're going to head over to our spin wheel, the wheel of spinditude. And Bean's not on the spin wheel right now. Where's Bean? Bean! There it is.
I'm over here.
Gotcha. Found you.
All right.
Hit that like button.
Let's see here.
Get your rigged signs ready, all you members in the chat. Rigged.
Got Sean. Yeah, hold on.
Now I got to drop it. Where's my little sign?
Whoops. I got to get another one here. Hold on. Dude, can you imagine, though, Breece Hall think about his first contact coming at the second level.
Dude, if he didn't have to, get past, 7 guys in the box immediately. Just getting him out on the perimeter and having him put his foot in the ground on a corner or a safety or a linebacker that's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to try and tackle this guy. Oh, wait, I'm not fast enough because Breece is friggin' lightning. It's crazy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun if it all comes together, man. Like we have, legitimately, we have a lot to be excited for. A lot of talent on this team, man.
We do. Matt, could you head over to last week's stream, please?
Yes.
See if we got any timestamps.
We got a few for you, Green Bean.
What's that?
We got a few for you.
All right, let's fucking do this thing.
Titan shifter.
That don't sound good.
Peter in the beautiful Hudson Valley.
All right.
Oh, Peter.
The gag.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
James Falls.
Oh, I hope he's all right.
Pure imagination. And that's it.
All right.
How many we got?
29, Ryan.
29. Feeling fine. Come on,
Spin
Google
it.
generator. What are we doing? 29. Feeling fine. Random. 24. Who we got?
That is the one and only Eddie McGuire.
Ooh, Eddie McGuire. Let's see what you get.
Jersey. It's going to be a jersey this week.
Shirt.
It is. I feel it. Nope.
It's a shirt. So, Eddie.
I don't know. I felt like that stopped fast.
Did it?
Again.
Should I hit it one more time?
Shirt's pretty good.
Shirt is
Shirt's pretty solid.
You can get this one, Eddie. See this shit?
Oh, Rogers Wilson 2024 or Yak King. Our new Yak King shirt's pretty hot. We should probably send ourselves some Yak King shirts.
Yeah,
'Cause those
yeah,
are
I
pretty
like
legit.
that shit.
If you guys haven't checked out the Yak King shirt, head over to talkinjets.com. Eddie, hit us up with your shipping info, your shirt size, and we'll send you out a shirt. Send it over to JetsTalk247 or talkinjetshow@gmail.com. We'll get your info and send you out something nice. Thank you so much for playing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Boys and girls, we've reached the end of our stream. So let's go around, give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, any last thoughts for our panel?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Tigo and I are gonna talk about the Jets on a show called Armchair GM right here on the Talkin' Jets channel. Then we got the Thursday thick of it. Gunny's back in town, so we'll do that. But yeah, man, we're just gonna keep going, dude, through the off season. Everybody, we're gonna keep talking this thing, seeing what's going on. We got schedules and all kinds of shit. So we're going to have some fun. Join us.
O'Leary, any last words from you?
Yeah, we were on for a full 2 hours, and no one realized that both Ryan and I have the same jersey on today. We're both rocking the
Mike White.
Twinning. That way we can get a bunch of comments in the chat that say both Matt and Matt are wearing number 5 jerseys. We can't tell them apart.
Yeah, we look even more the same now. So Ryan had his on, and I said I'm going to put mine on as well. We'll see how long until we get the comments, and nobody mentioned it.
And not one. Twinsies.
You jerks. Hey, Greg, I see you in the chat. Shoot us an email. He says he's never got a hat from the win from 3 weeks ago. So, Greg, reach out to us. I want to make sure we get that to you. Boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you guys here next week, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We're still not going to know the schedule, but I think we might know a few, got a few maybe leaks or something like that by that point in time. So fingers crossed, that's what we'll see. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you tonight. This is Talkin' Jets signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it, is that people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does it a different way, with positivity.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Jets, Jets.